Thank you, thank you. Hashtag. Good morning, everybody. How are you feeling? That was very loud. I was like creepily enthusiastic dude in the front row. Welcome to the very first thing of the day. My talk, this is how you mayor, taking Foursquare politics to the next level. I'm the Honorable Baratunde Thurston. Co-starring in this presentation is the Honorable Jennifer Magnolfi. Let's get into it. For those who don't know much about me, quick stats. I'm the digital director for The Onion. Puts me in charge of most of our bit-related activities. I am an author of an in-progress book called How to Be Black. A lot of you could probably use that. I've been into politics and activism for a while and help do that at a political site. And I'm formerly known as the swine flu on Twitter from about a year and a half ago. All those come together in this very special project I want to share with you today. It involves a lot of never-before-seen video footage, some political analysis, some social media analysis. Foursquare, of course, is all the rage. You check in, you can become mayor, you can leave tips at venues, you unlock badges. I think The Onion actually covered this tech trend best with the following story. New social networking site changing the way, oh Christ, forget it. Let someone else report on this bullshit. But I decided to wade full on into this bullshit, all about a venue called Delicatessen. It's not just any deli. It's a restaurant in Nolita in Manhattan. It looks like this. And I interviewed the owner so he can give you a flavor of what this business is like. This is John Buffa, owner of Delicatessen, talking about himself and his venue.
My name is John Buffa.
John Buffa. And where are we right now?
We're at the old Buffa's Deli. Buffa's Deli was a store my grandfather started in 1928.
Okay.
My grandfather ran it as a grocery store where you didn't have to know English.
Mm-hmm.
Or you opened up a store and you dealt with your own type of people. Like everybody around here used to speak Italian. So it wasn't that you knew too much. You didn't have to know too much English.
Right.
And everything here is top shelf, you know what I mean? In my old store, everything used to come in, we used to freeze.
Okay.
In this store, everything is fresh. Our freezer is almost, I can't believe how small our freezer is. So this is really a great place, you know what I mean? Our prices here don't reflect what we spent to put this together. You're one of my heroes, and I hope you're still the mayor when this is over.
All right. Thank you, John. Really appreciate it, man.
Okay.
So let's talk about how I actually became mayor of this place. My friend Ron introduced me to Delicatessen in October of 2007, the same day I introduced him to Foursquare. He became the rightful mayor, and we had a good time there hanging out together, but I started hanging out there more than he did, and I wasn't trying to, but I ousted him. This is the first of several oustings that challenged our friendship for months. I ousted him in February, he came back and ousted me, and we went back and forth like this over a 3-month period, me bumping him out, sometimes on the same day, because the algorithm was working in that sense. You could oust and be ousted again on the exact same day. May 26th was when Ron gave up. He was exiled to Brooklyn. He runs a company called Snap Goods now. They're doing very well, and he didn't have enough time to fight me in battle. So I had 49 days of peacetime mayorship. And then July 14th happened. July 14th, I checked in. My friend Jennifer Magnolfi, she does programmable design. She's very much a smart designer, architect, geek person. She shows up and tries to shout to the world that she's going to take my mayorship. Now, I love this place. You don't just take that. I clearly fought very hard for it, almost lost a really good college friend over this. So we had declared that what we're going to try to do, instead of just having a check-in versus check-in battle, there's a lot of mayoral battles that are just about how many times you show up. We wanted to ask what would happen if you treated a Foursquare mayoral campaign like a real political campaign. And the first thing that would happen is Magnolfi would hire Ron as her campaign manager. Right, once again, soiling the friendship waters. We had already healed our wounds. Now he's on my enemy's side. And then we began to set ground rules. It would be a real check-in only campaign, no drive-by check-ins, no virtual check-ins. It would be 30 days in length because we had to put some kind of cap on this. It would be clean and honorable. Right? We didn't want to get our fans talking trash about each other. We're still friends. And most importantly, the mechanics of it are really important. Foursquare mayors are determined on a sort of rolling day basis, whoever has the most check-ins in that period. Sudden death. I was the mayor. If she ousted me at any point during this 30 days, I had to honor that and move on and walk away from all that we built together. So we went about getting photo shoots with people, eating every dish on the menu. The only chance she had to possibly succeed is because I travel a lot. I went to Canada, I went to Las Vegas, and I tried to spin these as creative financing expeditions or foreign investment, policy initiatives. But every time I left town, she got a little bit closer. These are milk and cookies that they serve. They're very delicious. Then shit got real, guys. I showed up. I nearly drank out of a glass that was broken, and I wondered, is this an assassination attempt by the McNulty campaign? She said, no, it isn't. She's more creative than that. I had to take her at her word for it. Friends of hers started leaving tips on the venue, encouraging people to vote me out, talking about they needed change. All of a sudden, I'm the anti-change incumbent. That doesn't feel right. I don't like that. Folks at Aviary hooked me up with this beautiful design. Now we're getting somewhere. We've got some nice political messaging going on. Mayor, yes, I'd hope. Mayor. Flip that around, help finance the campaign. Right? It's a very expensive campaign. So these are still for sale. Please note the URL. We got a lot of campaign debts. These are delicious pancakes. Financial disclosure. I started when people would buy the mayor meals, they wanted to be around. You have to eat every day, and it gets very expensive. So I would at least disclose in the campaign blog who paid for what, how much it cost, what was included, right? Taking those lessons that we want our actual political leaders to do. And then McNulty stepped it up a notch. I checked in, and she had made her own drink. She worked with one of my favorite bartenders there and called it the toast of the town, and it was all the rage, and I couldn't have this. I'm a whiskey man, so of course I had to make a whiskey drink that involves fire inside of it because my campaign was hot. See, so we had that back and forth. And when you're going somewhere every day, the bartenders are getting creeped out, the server's like, what are you doing? And we are bumping into each other constantly, each bringing mutual friends there, trying to claim them to our side. Here's a video I shot on the day that I happened to bump into Jennifer when I was having lunch with a friend, and she was having lunch with a mutual friend that some of you will recognize.
This started as just a game. This place is incredible. It's awesome. The food is really great. And I thought there should be a change of leadership. So I'm going for it.
All right. And Kenyatta, now what led you to betray your neighbor and your friend and support Jennifer McNulty?
I wouldn't exactly call it a betrayal in as much as McNulty has done a really good job of swaying me to her side of the issues. For example,
does this display in front of you have anything to do with that swayage?
Yes, this is the swayage itself. This drink. And
so she bought your vote.
Oh, my vote is always easily bought. So at the right price, I will switch over to the Baratunde camp.
All right.
However, that can then be one up. I mean, this could just go back and forth for quite some time. I am, as far as like state politics go, I am sort of the Al Sharpton of the delicatessen mayorship. I
am the Al Sharpton of the delicatessen mayorship battle. It was a beautiful moment in the campaign. I was happy to share that with you. Then we actually got real press. Metro Mix was doing profiles of Foursquare mayor battles, and they talked to me, and they talked to Jennifer, and one of the quotes that I gave them was, look, people say in electoral politics, 80% of success is showing up. Well, in Foursquare politics, 100% of success is showing up. All right, they talked to McNulty. She talked about how, you could bring play into simple things like going out to a restaurant. And because she's a designer and an architect, she was very focused on the physical space, on the airflow, on the use of light and how that might be changed, but already how excellent it was. And it's an award-winning venue. So we got our press coverage, and I decided, you know what, you got your drinks. I'm doing a rally, an actual rally for a fake mayorship. Yes, we did. And here's some footage from that. That really happened. And the thing is, I didn't want it to look like a protest of the business, so we did it across the street in front of another business I don't respect at all. All right. Now, I can't have a rally without a speech.
I'm running for re-election as mayor of Delicatessen. Now, some people say that mayorship is just about checking in on Foursquare, but we know that's not true, right? Preach on, preach on.
Mayorship's about cheeseburgers, spring rolls. Can I get that name? But I'd like to quote from the good book, that'd be the delicatessen menu. The book of sandwiches. We've got the delicatessen Reuben on rye, and I quote, hand sliced corned beef, sauerkraut, Swiss, and Russian dressing. Testify. From the book of dessert. It's the classic, people. It's called Milk and Cookies. Milk and cookies. Say it with me.
Milk and cookies. Milk and cookies. Milk and cookies.
When I say delica, you say Tessin. Delica. Delica. When I say cheeseburger, you say spring roll. Cheeseburger.
Spring roll.
Cheeseburger.
Spring roll.
When I say whiskey, you say Friday. Whiskey.
Friday.
Whiskey.
Friday.
Let's go have some whiskey, people. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go.
That actually happened, yes. Now, you can't have a rally without someone protesting with a counter rally. I promise you, this was not staged. This was not my idea. This is a coworker of mine at The Onion who had some extra time on her hands. And the beauty of this moment is like, this is happening in the real world. This is not just a virtual sort of Twitter hashtag battle. This is on New York City streets. I've got people honking horns in support of what they think is my real mayoral campaign. I've got other people walking by being like, what is wrong with you? And then people going up to her being like, why does Jesus hate Baratunde? And what's a Baratunde? So it was quite a fascinating day. Now, Magnolfi and I stayed in touch throughout the campaign. We had a nice communications back channel between her campaign manager and my campaign manager to try to make sure that we kept this, this is a fun thing. It's a little about ego, but we wanted to give something back to Delicatessen, to the people who work there, and just try to keep building the creativity throughout these 30 days. We actually had a joint campaign meeting. This is a joint campaign teams here trying to form Voltron. We wanted to get our drinks in the point-of-sale system and then have a set price that was a bit lower than the average drinks and have a sales competition during the last week, the sort of sprint, and then take some of that money and create a pool out of it and give it to the employees. So we hadn't gotten sign-off on this yet, but we were very, very excited. This was Saturday, August 7th, 1 week left in the 30-day campaign, and the next day, something happened. Something major happened. I have a friend who is running for New York State Senate, a real political office, and he's running against a guy named Pedro Espada, who is known as the most corrupt legislator in Albany, and Albany is known as the most corrupt legislature in the country. And this was a big day because a bunch of friends were supposed to go up to the Bronx and help our friend Gustavo campaign against this bad human being. Now, while I woke up, I had a choice to make. Like, do I go to Delicatessen first, get my check-in, or do I go up to the Bronx and do my canvassing duty and be on time? I decided to go to the Bronx. And while I was up there, just as I left the campaign headquarters, this happened. And I got that notification that many of us have felt before, that deep sadness. You've just been ousted as mayor. And we rallied, up in the Bronx. I knocked on 110 doors. It was a great day, but it was met with some sadness. And you had to make that call that every incumbent knows about. And it looks a little something like this. Breakfast at Delicatessen was clearly the political decision of my life. And I just want to know, it's been an honor running against you. I think you kept it clean, I think you kept it classy, I think you kept it respectable. It's a campaign, I can be proud of, you can be proud of, and most importantly, the people at Delicatessen can be proud of. So I will probably stop by Delicatessen this evening in honor of your victory and have one of your campaign drinks that I will pay for with my campaign funds. And hopefully we can still do the symbolic drink runoff during the week, just as a sprint to the finish. But absolutely, congratulations. As we said, anything could happen, and in this game of politics, it's 100% about showing up. Way to show up. Thank you. Bye-bye. Now, people were watching all across the country, across the web. There are a lot of reactions to this loss, stunned reactions from people all over the political spectrum, not sure what to do with themselves. Some speaking clear truths, some just sharing their emotions. So it was a dark moment. It was a dark, no! It's happened. And people who all lost their mayorships now reaching to me for some sort of counsel. So we have this final week. We meet with the management. They nix the idea of totally changing their prices and messing with their compensation scheme for some reason. But the director of operations loved us. He said, no, there's regulars and there's you guys. And if you really want to support the staff, what you should do is do their job. And so the final day, even though she had already been declared the winner, we wanted to run it to the end, and we actually did a half-day training as employees at Delicatessen. And we bussed tables, and we worked at the bar, and we stood at the hosting stand and welcomed people, and we learned how to use the point-of-sale system and the reservation system, and we skipped our real jobs to do this. I got reprimanded by the boss because I was texting with my real boss, trying to explain why I wasn't at my office doing what I was getting paid to do and doing this social experiment. The final thing we did was inauguration party. We wanted to celebrate this big time. We had a nice gathering of Webby people, politics people, employees. Wanted to thank them. Our drinks were on the menu. Actually, Delicatessen itself supported us and had a great speech, which you're not going to hear now, but the thing they did, which was awesome, is they made mayor glasses, etched with Foursquare logos for any future mayors to drink out of for their exclusive use. Very unique thing. The head of business development for Foursquare came out from the Bay Area for our inauguration party. And the key thing with any inauguration is the oath of office, and this is what it looked like.
Business
Very
item
short.
left on our agenda, and that's the swearing in of the new mayor. If someone can hand me a menu, please. Any delicatessen menu. All right. And just repeat after me.
I have not proofread this.
It's all good. It's all good. I, Jennifer Magnolfi,
I, Jennifer Magnolfi,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to uphold and execute the office of Mayor of Delicatessen
to uphold and execute the office of Mayor of Delicatessen
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
to the best of my knowledge and abilities,
by honoring and defending the menu, the design, and the staff,
by honoring and defending the menu, the design, and the staff,
by always putting the people before myself,
by always putting the people before myself,
and by only checking in when I'm physically on the premises.
as always, and by always checking in when I'm physically on the premises.
So help me Foursquare.
So help me Foursquare.
Congratulations, Madam Mayor.
And so we accomplished a lot of things. We doubled their Twitter followers. We got coverage from WNYC's Brian Lehrer show and Metro Mix. The staff of Delicatessen, the owners, now know what this tool is, and they're starting to use it. We got those glasses. There was a rally that I may have mentioned before. Jennifer met with the architects to talk about just what was behind that thinking. The venue was trending for our party. We had inauguration, which was crazy. Official support of Foursquare at the end, and we're much better friends because of it, setting a new bar for mayorship. That's it. Please thank her on Twitter right now. Congratulate her. And there's a new website you should check out because it's just hilarious. I'm Baratunde. Have a good show.